what are the city of Canton's plans with all these trails and parks coming up around, and how can you benefit from it as an investor or home purchaser who is looking to make a wise investment? One of the first rules of real estate investment is if you can, buy in the path of appreciation, meaning go where areas that are going to be increasing in value. One of the best ways to find these areas is to follow capital improvements, where follow the big money, see where they're going, and get a little bit off them. So one of the city is doing some really big things. You might they did a plan, it's like 2025. I think it's the roadmap to the future or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it's a 2040 plan. You can look it up online. The path to success. Things we're really trying to make it much more of what I consider like what you would expect of a city in the foothills with like river access and walking and biking paths and jobs and all that. Today we're going to go over the path situation and the parks going downtown and the areas that will be affected by them. All right, so let's dive in. This is the master plan. Obviously, not all this is done, but let's take a look at. So I'll tell you what. This is Bowling Park. This is the water plant. This is Cherokee High School, and this is downtown Canton right here. I'll tell you what's already here. So we got the Heritage Park already up there, and then we're next to the Etowah River Park. So this is going to be some extra sidewalks. I'm not sure if those are in yet, but we already have this path to pretty much right there. And we have this path from Bowling Park that goes from there to there. Almost. And I haven't seen any work that they're doing on this one yet. So one of the plans that they're going to start on this summer is connecting this trail across the river. I assume is that they haven't been wanting to finish up this because the water plant is there and they don't want a bunch of people coming in. But they're supposed to be starting on this year, so we might be able by this time next year or earlier to be able to walk across the river right here in a pedestrian bridge, which would be cool. So all these people in this area, I'll show that way that is. Sorry to zoom out for you real quick. We are talking about, so this is the Cherokee High School. We'd be able to people from this area. I think this will be a good investment area. It's going to bring these people in to be able to walk down the paths here and go right into Canton. It's something about like something similar to the Beltline. Hopefully it'll do something like that with property values at least, and really make it a much more walkable and improving the density. So then be able to walk in. One thing they're working on now too is they're doing this West Main Street. They're burying the power lines. We just want to make this a really big walkable area from downtown to West Main Street. This is through the Etowah, the mill on Etowah area. I'm going to go through and more specific on these plans here in a little bit. And you go over here. There's going to be another where they're doing right now. They're doing a pedestrian bridge right here to bring in this area, Sunnyside. So they're doing a pedestrian bridge right here, right now already, bringing this area to make it more accessible into downtown. And I'm going to go over here in a few minutes. This is almost all approved for duplexes. Now, another thing that you're going to see, we got all this coming in right down right here. They want to make it a lot more walkable. So if you go up this road, was it Waleska Road, 140? It's kind of sketchy to walk on. They got to do some major improvements. So I don't know about this area so much, but up here, and this is all. Let's see. Let's just jump to the map. So this is Sunnyside. This is RA6. That's duplexes. A lot of this is RA6 too, which is duplexes. So there's a lot of opportunity right here. I'm going to show you where this is in the map. It's all right in here. So there's a lot of opportunity. We also got a lot of apartments coming up right now. So in the short term, I don't know what you're going to be looking like for rents, etc. But if you are looking to um, buy in town, and there's also you can buy ADUs. ADUs have now been permitted by the city of Canton, and they're really trying to promote density. So that is always an option. I'll go over more of the specific ADU requirements, but anything in residential is going to have some pretty good ADU laws. All right. Oh, and actually, I didn't do the full map. So they're gonna have this trail going out here, and they're supposed to have like some nature stuff. So I'm gonna dive into what all these all are on more. So you'll be able to walk from downtown to the mill in Etowah, connect it this way. Remember, I said we already got this pedestrian path coming in here. So it's going to really connect these areas into all downtown, make it a nice walkable loop to up where the old hospital was. And obviously, the big thing, we don't know at Cherokee High School when the new one opens in August of this year, what they're going to do exactly. From what I've heard, that once they're going to redo, they're going to make this an elementary school again, the old elementary school, and then they're going to sell this off or figure out what to do with it. So let's dive into what all these plans are. I'm just going to scroll through. So, and this is older, so there's a lot of things that have changed. And I assume at the time they thought they were going to keep Cherokee High School. They're talking about putting these sidewalks in. I haven't noticed any sidewalk improvements. So this is the first. This is the new bowling park, and I think that there's a little baseball field thing there. Let's see where I'm talking about right here. So let's go see if I can go to layers. Yeah, you see how there's this little baseball. There's a water place, and there's a little baseball field right there. Ooh, I don't want to go to the zoning map again. It's whether I'm not putting in place of it. Open lawn seating area, parking, canoe kayak launch. So this is just a general of what they want the trailheads to look like. On the canoe launch area ideas. And this is the one thing of concern I have is crossing this bridge. I know they try to do underneath it or connecting over there, but that's a major artery, Waleska Street into downtown. The sidewalk is definitely thin. I don't I don't know if they're gonna widen that or if they're gonna yeah, they don't really say specifically. Some things have changed for the better, some have not already. So this is what they had planned for down at the Reka riverfront. This is at the mill on Etowah. This would be that bridge, pedestrian bridge across the river. So, and the apartments are already kind of there blocking it, but they're at the same time they're already working on covering the power lines to go down Main Street, which would be down there. So I don't know. So a lot of tentative stuff. This stuff is 5-10 years old already, and things have changed. And I say I hope we don't have a bridge like that because I'll be leaning and make me nervous. This is some ideas for the riverfront. Yeah. I'm gonna go through these to show you. So I don't know, yeah, for this bridge, if that's what their plan is for having like an extra little bike lane, but it's like a 4 lane with a narrow side. What's a decently sidewalk, but it's definitely kind of sketchy. So hopefully they'll do something, add something. I don't know. That's an area of I don't understand what they're doing yet. This is what they're planning on doing on West Main Street. But as I said, if you go down there now, they're right behind here. There's already the apartment buildings that they just built. So and this trail's already in here. And it's where they're trying to connect it. So I think that's the Brewsters. I think Brewsters is going to be really good for Brewsters. They got that path coming in right there that goes to Etowah and whatever they put at the old Cherokee High School, which is going to be a big determinant on the future Um, Here we are at this is the mill on Etowah and that big field behind it. This is out going to the left, out to Harmon Field, so like the baseball fields and all that. This one thing I thought was pretty cool. Um, Environmental education access area. They're talking about overlook pavilion and bird watching tower and stuff like that. That'd be cool. I think so, at least. But yeah, so that if we bring if we make this area a lot more walkable, right in here, this is some good properties, um, potential investment properties that are really going to have some value. So we can bike right here and go right there. Bring in this area, which is this area, which is Sunnyside, and I assume this is North Canton. I think that's what they call it. You can bring this area much more walkable. And then, these are, let's say, up and coming areas to begin with. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And tomorrow, we're going to be setting up a search for properties in here for investment opportunities. We're going to look at whether you can get an ADU in there, whether you can actually, whether it has a duplex or you can make it a duplex, etc. So this is Alan. This is Investing in Georgia. This is where I'm at. Catch me tomorrow. Thanks.